Hello students. As you know that we had already done 23 sums of the unsolved exercise of chapter 4, and now I'm continuing this exercise from the 24th question so that you can have a good revision of the questions related to income method and expenditure method or also value added method. So for practice, you have to note down these sums in your pair notebooks also, which will be checked in the class. So we are starting from the question number 24. These questions involve one or two methods, and likewise, you will be able to revise these methods as well while solving these sums. So, question is calculate GNPFC by income method and expenditure method from the following data. So, if we have to do a sum by two methods, so first we will write the name of that method by which we want to do this sum. So, let us do this one first with the income method. And what we have to find? We have to find GNPFC. So whatever we have to find, we will write that like this GNPFC equal to question mark. Now the first thing after writing what we need to know, after that we have to see what is the formula that we use for income method, number one, and number two, which aggregate is used in that formula. So I had told you many times in the class that in income method, the general formula involves this aggregate NDP at factor cost. Although we require GNP at factor cost, but the given formula which we have learned in the class that gives us NDP FC. And now I will write the formula by income method. I will not see now what is given there. First, I will think about the formula only. So this involves number one thing, compensation of employees. It is also given in the question in eighth number. Compensation of employees, number one. Second thing, it gives operating surplus. And third thing, mixed income. So I'm writing mixed income first because it doesn't involve other components. So mixed income. Is it given there? If it is not given, we will write it as zero. Third thing is operating surplus. And as I had told you, operating surplus includes rent, royalty, profit, and interest. So I will not write here operating surplus. I will see what components of operating surplus are given to me. For that, see this question on the screen. Rent is given here. So rent is the part of operating surplus. Then interest is also given here. Interest is also the part of operating surplus. Interest is the reward in return for capital. And profit is given. Profit is the reward for the entrepreneur. So that will also be added here. Now we shall see is any royalty given or not. No royalty like thing given here. So these three things will constitute operating surplus. That's all. Whatever else is given, I don't have to use that because in the formula, whatever things required have been used. Okay, now I just need to put the values. Compensation of employees is given here as 800. Sorry, this 800. Mixed income is not given, so I'll write 0 in place of that. Then rent is given as 40 here. Interest is given as 60, so plus 60, and profit is given as 120. So it is 840 plus 60, 900 and 1020 in rupees, and it is given in lakhs. So in lakhs also, in lakh rupees or 1020 lakh rupees. That's it. So in a simple way, we have calculated NDPFC by using income method. But our task was not to calculate NDPFC. Our task was to calculate GNPFC. So here what we do, here we do that thing which we had learned in third chapter. This is the fourth chapter, Here we do that we had learned in the third chapter to convert one aggregate from another one. Now NDPFC is known to us and we need to find GNPFC. So what we need to find, we write that on the left hand side, and the aggregate that is given to us, or that which we already have calculated, that is written at the right hand side. So this is like this. Now I have to make NDPFC into GNPFC. So this first N means net, and second means domestic product at factor cost. Gross national. The second N means national and first N means net. Remember that. Product at factor cost. Okay. Net to gross. To convert from net to gross, we had discussed many times in the class. We use depreciation. Net is always smaller than gross, or gross is larger than net. So we will add depreciation to make net as gross. This is domestic, this is national. From domestic to national, we have to make. So for that, we add net factor income from abroad. Uh, First, we will see, are we given depreciation? We are given a 9 point consumption of fixed capital. And as you know, consumption of fixed capital is also called depreciation, is the another name of depreciation. So we can write a depreciation or consumption of fixed capital, doesn't matter. From domestic to national, we need net factor income from abroad, and we are already given clearly net factor income from abroad. So I will simply add net factor income from abroad, or in short, I am writing it as NFIA. So domestic to national is done. Factor, both are at factor cost, so no need to make any further change. NDPFC is 1020. Depreciation or consumption of fixed capital is this 20, and net factor income from abroad is minus 20. So there is plus sign, but it is actually of minus sign. So this plus 20 minus 20 will get cancelled. So the answer remains the same as the NDPFC was 1020 lakh. And when we match the answer, we see that our answer is correct. Fine. So in this way, we have been able to calculate the required GNPFC, this aggregate, with the help of income method. I think it is clear to all of you. Now we will do this. Some technical problem is there. Okay, yes, it is fine now. Now we will do this thing by expenditure method. Okay, so you shall also have a notebook with you, and you shall keep on writing this with me, because if you don't write it or don't use your mind while I do this here, you also don't solve it, you won't be able to learn it for long. Even if you learn, it will not be for long. So you must write it with me, or when you watch this video. So now we need to do the same, to find the same thing, that is GNPFC by expenditure method. So I will write the heading expenditure method first. What is to be calculated, I will clearly mention so that I shall not forget it while solving my sum. Okay, now we must remember, now we need the formula like in the income method. But before using formula, I need to know which aggregate I use for whatever formula I have for expenditure method. And if you remember, for expenditure method, the general aggregate used for general formula is GDP at market price. And for income method, it was NDP at factor cost. This is the most important thing to remember to do the sum correct. Now I shall know the formula, which you had already learned, is given in your book. So what the formula is, it is, private final consumption expenditure, means overall consumption expenditure by the households. Okay, consumption expenditure by the households. Okay, plus government final consumption expenditure. It means consumption expenditure by the government. This doesn't include investment by the government. This is the consumption expenditure by the government. Okay. Third thing was gross domestic capital formation. Gross domestic capital formation. And okay, I can simply write here Two things I can do. Either I can write it directly or I can write it in parts also. So I need to see, am I given gross domestic capital formation in the question by the same name? Let me check. I am not given here. I am first thing private final consumption expenditure is exactly given. Government final is also given. As far as third thing is concerned, I am not given gross domestic capital formation. On the other hand, we are given net domestic capital formation. Okay, so remember one thing, net domestic is given, but in the formula it is gross domestic. We can convert net to gross if we are given depreciation also. Are we given that? Yes, we are given that as well. So by adding these two, net domestic capital formation and depreciation, then I will get gross domestic capital formation. So here in the formula, instead of writing gross domestic capital formation, what will I write? I will write, because I'm not given gross domestic. So I'll write net domestic capital formation, right? Okay. Plus consumption of fixed capital or depreciation. Okay. So I am writing here consumption of fixed capital or depreciation. Fine. So now this together makes gross domestic capital formation. Fine. Last thing is net exports or exports minus imports. If we are given export import separately, then we will write export minus imports. But you can see in the question, if you have your book open, it is given us as net exports in the question also. So I'll also write it simply as net exports. So this is the main thing to make the correct formula. After that, we only have to put the values and find the answer, and most of the students will feel no problem in doing that. Main thing is to write the correct formula in the correct way. So I shall see the values now. Private final consumption expenditure is 800, government final is 200, net domestic capital formation is 100, and consumption of fixed capital is 20, and net exports is also 20. So I write here private final is 800, government final is 200. I think net domestic was 100, consumption of fixed capital 20, and net exports 20. Fine. When we add them, 800, 1000, 1100, and 40 lakh rupees. So this is it. But what have we achieved or obtained? We have obtained GDP MP. But do we require to find GDP MP in the question? No. We require his brother GNP FC. So again, we need to look at the third chapter, that what we learn in the third chapter, to convert an aggregate from one to another. I need GNPFC, but I need that I write on the left hand side. What I have, that I write on the right hand side, that is GDP MP. I didn't have that initially, but after the formula solving it, I got the value. So now I need to convert this to that. Both are gross, no change required. Domestic to national, we need to add net factor income from abroad. I'm writing it as NFIA. Market to factor. Market price includes net indirect taxes, and factor cost does not include net indirect taxes. If MP includes net indirect taxes, means net indirect taxes are already here, which we don't need. So we will subtract net indirect taxes. But for that, we need to check, are we given net indirect taxes by the same name, net indirect taxes, or we are given indirect tax and subsidy separately? We will see we are given directly net indirect taxes. So we don't need to write indirect taxes and subsidies separately. So I'll just subtract net indirect taxes, which in short is called NIT. Fine. So the main thing was to make this correct formula and then to make this correct formula. These two things are the only thing which we must do right. Other things we are mere calculations which we have learned in the you can say fifth, sixth, seventh classes. Okay, so GDP MP is 1140, and NFIA, I remember it was minus 20, and NIT, we shall see what is net indirect tax. Okay, it is 100. It is 100. You can see here. Yeah. So I'll subtract 100. Fine. Okay. So plus minus minus. So 1140 minus 20 minus 100. Minus minus get added. So I will add them first. 1140 minus 120 and 11020. So you shall note we get the same answer by all the three methods. So previous answer was also 1020 lakh rupees using income method, and now the same answer using the expenditure method. So in this way, our sum is complete. Fine. So we have done it. One more sum I will do in this video. Okay. Then it will be completed. That this video's task will be over after that. Okay, so let us see now the question number 25. 25th question says from the following data, calculate gross national product at market price by income method and expenditure method. So first I write the heading income method, the first thing, which method we are using. Second thing, what I need to find gross national product at market price. So GNP at market price. This I have to find. Fine. But whatever I have to find, that is not my only cause of concern. I have to see as per the method which formula I have to use, and that formula involves which aggregate, means out of 8 aggregates. So you remember this income method involves which aggregate? It involves NDPFC, net domestic product at factor cost is used for its formula. We had discussed about it, why we use this. So that has not been discussed here now. So NDPFC. So what was the income method? Compensation of employees. Are we given compensation of employees? Yes. So I can simply write compensation of employees. In short, I'm writing COE plus. We need mixed income. Are we given mixed income of self-employed? Yes, we are given. I am writing it first. You can write it last also. It's up to you. Mixed income of self employed. Fine. Third thing is that operating surplus, which includes rent, royalty, profit, interests. We are given, we can see now serial wise what part of operating surplus are we given. First, profits are given. So first I am writing profits. Then we are given interest. Okay. Interest is also the part of operating surplus. Interest. Then are we given anything else? Yeah, we are given rent also. So we can write that in any order, first or second, doesn't make a difference. I couldn't see it earlier. So rent also is given, royalty is not given, no problem. So that's fine. That is the formula. Everything is done. What other things are given, we don't need to think about that. We need to ignore them if that is not of use to us. COE, compensation of employees, is 600. Mixed income is 500. Profits are how much it is? 1, 2, 3, 4. 450. Interest is 250. And rent is 200. That's it. So all are to be added 6, 5, 11, 11, 4, 15, 15, 3, 1800. It is 2000. Unit is crore. So rupees 2000 crore rupees is NDPFC. But it is not the answer. Why? Because we were not asked to find NDPFC. We have to find GNPMP. Again, using third chapter knowledge, GNPMP is to be calculated. NDPFC is given. That is given or that is already known is written at right side. Net to gross. We add depreciation or consumption of fixed capital that is given to us. I'm writing it simply depreciation. Okay. You can write consumption of fixed capital as well. Domestic to national, we add net factor income from abroad. We are given net factor income from abroad, which we write in abbreviated form as NFIA. Factor to market. Factor cost doesn't involve net indirect taxes or indirect tax and subsidies, while market price involves net indirect taxes. Are we given net indirect taxes? We are given net indirect taxes, which is indirect tax minus subsidies, but we are generally collectively given that NIT, that is 150. So we, in fact, taxes are not there. So we add in market price. In market price, taxes are included. So plus NIT. That's it. Main thing is done. Now put the values. NDPFC already calculated 2000. That is it. Yeah. Depreciation that is given consumption of fixed capital. I think it is 115. Yes. 115. NFIA is minus 15. So plus minus 15, I'm directly writing minus. Plus minus is minus, minus 15. And NIT is 150. Fine. So that is positive plus 150. Now we need to solve it. So what we have, 2000 plus 115 minus 15 is 100. So 2000 plus 100 plus 150, that is 2250 crore rupees, and that is our answer. So in this way, we have been able to find the value of GNPMP using which method? Using income method. Okay, done. Now we have to find the same thing using expenditure method. So that will solve at the right hand side of this page. It's not working that good. Okay. So it is like this, right? Okay, fine. So I'm writing the heading first, which method I am using, expenditure method. I'm again writing what I need to find, GNPMP. First thing is done. Now again, I need a formula for expenditure method and I need to know which aggregate we use for the formula. You remember, I think we use GDP-MP. And the general formula is private final consumption expenditure, government final consumption expenditure. Okay, let us see, are we given them? We also need to check it. How is the thing given that we have to use? The question, are we given private final consumption expenditure? Yes. Government final? Yes. Are we given gross domestic capital formation? No, we are given net domestic. So do we have the appreciation? Yes. Where is it? Yes, we have the appreciation. So we can add this first and seven to get gross domestic capital formation. Last thing is net exports. Yes, we are given net exports also. So everything is so simple. Just remember the formula, write the formula, put the values, get the answer, and get the marks. Anyways, so GDP and T equal to, I am writing the formula. You are also requested to write down the formula every time you solve the sum. That will make you remember the formulas and you will easily write them every time or in exams also, whenever you solve the sum. So it is private final It's not working that good. Okay. Consumption expenditure plus government final. Has it lost the ink like the real pen? No, no. Okay, it's being late. Government final. Okay, let me drag the page. Government final consumption expenditure plus we need gross domestic capital formation, but as we have seen in the question, we are given net domestic capital formation. So to make it gross, we because it is gross here. To make it gross, we add depreciation, and final thing is net exports or exports minus imports. But we are given net exports, so I am writing net exports. Now I just need to put the values, and the answer will be obtained. Well, I'm not the exactly given private final consumption expenditure as 1100. Okay, 1100. Let's sit here. Government final consumption expenditure as 700. Okay, two things are there. Net domestic 375. Depreciation 115. Net export minus 25. Okay. So here we are writing private final how much it was. It can be seen here, I think. Yeah. Private final was 1100. Government final was 700. Gross domestic capital for net domestic capital formation 375. Then depreciation 115. You can open your book and you can see the question there. And net exports is the last thing. I think that is minus 25. It is given. Yeah, like that. So what is it? 11,800, 1,800, 375 and 115. When we add them, we get 394.90 minus 25. That is 18. 2290 minus 25. That is 2265 rupees crores. Okay. So finally, what we need to find? We need to find GNP. So GNP software is not working so well is equal to we have obtained GDP that I write on the right hand side gross no change domestic to national plus net factor income from abroad or NFIA market no change required, only one change was required. Okay, then 2265 is GDP. You can see here we had calculated it, and NFIA, it is this. I need to check what is the value of NFIA. It is minus 15, okay? Minus 15. So plus minus minus, or I can write like this. So 2265 minus 15. It is behaving like this. So it is 2250, the same answer that we had obtained earlier. Yeah, 2250. So that's it. Crores. In this way, we have obtained GNP and P. Okay. So you have got it. How it is done? By both the methods. Two sums we have done. You can practice more sums like this, and afterwards in next videos I'll solve more sums. And in examples also there are sums other than these unsolved questions. So if you find any sum difficult in the unsolved exercise or in the examples, you can message me that particular sum number if it is an example or in unsolved exercise, and I'll solve it here also in the form of video. So I hope you would have understood this. You have to write down this in your notebook, your notebook, and I don't have much experience to do this in this way, so you understand what I mean to say. I will improve myself. Fine. So that's all for this video. Goodbye.